Hello everybody, Jurify here. Welcome to the first video and first series on my channel. Today is the beginning of our Taskman journey in Runescape 3. I'm a very experienced RuneScape player and I've played a few different Taskman accounts, but I really wanted to try my hand at making some progress videos and sharing it with all of you. So I hope that you will stay tuned and enjoy everything that we have to come together on this journey. So we have successfully created our character. And we're going to go through the tutorial tier pretty quick, but this is EvenfallTask, my new Hardcore Ironman Taskman, and I hope you guys are all excited for the journey ahead. Our first task in the tutorial tier is just telling us about how Taskman works. Tutorial is going to be pretty fast for me, because I've gone through this multiple times before. If you're more curious about the rules and stuff, check out my separate video that I've made. It should have been uploaded along with the first episode of this series, and I will go in depth about the rules of Taskman and how a Taskman account works. But yeah, a lot of what this tutorial tier is just teaching you how this game mode works. So a lot of it's going to be pretty quick. As you can see, most of this doesn't really matter. This is our first actual task. We need to make our way to Lumbridge and talk to Nastaroth to block XP. So we prove that we actually are a true Taskman. We haven't reset any skills, basically. So I activated the Taverley lodestone on my way here and took the boat by the lodestone to Lumbridge, quickly activating the Lumbridge lodestone. And now it's time to talk to Nastaroth. And I want to... oh, no, the bottom one, not this one. I want to prove I've never used an XP block or reset. If you choose to do so, it'll show on your examine that you've never blocked XP or a reward or reset a skill. So boom, there we go. That's easy, and our first actual task complete. So we can complete that, generate a task. This tells us why we would do so. Here's another. I literally just made this account, so it's 0 and 0. Otherwise I would fill that out from Hans, but there's no actual data. Use the site, doesn't matter. Cook a shrimp on a range in Lumbridge, so I have to go fish a shrimp and then cook one on a range. This one is important in showing, because most people, when they think of a range in Lumbridge, they think of the one inside of the castle. However, you cannot cook on that range inside of the castle until you have done Cook's Assistant. And since we're a Taskman account and that's not our task, we're not allowed to do so. So there's actually a second range. Now we've got our shrimp. There's a second range that people probably don't know about in this house here that is accessible right away. There's nothing special you need to do. And basically this task is teaching us to make sure to check all possible avenues first to make sure that if you have a task, you're not cheating by doing a quest like Cook's Assistant, essentially. But there we go. We cooked a shrimp successfully on a range. So that is that task complete. And then this is just going to give the context that I just explained. Our next task is to do the blood pact and get Kale's charge bow. However, as this task explains, if a task requires you to start a quest, you can then finish the quest. So I'm going to do the entirety of the blood pact quest, and I will come back when I am finished with that. Should only take a couple minutes. We are nearing the end of the blood pact quest. As soon as Reese is dead, that's essentially the end. There's a little bit of dialogue afterwards, and it shows Dragathnorn's tomb opening, which we'll be returning to rather soon, I know, in a tutorial mission. But we killed him. Even if we refuse to kill him, he'll kill himself to fulfill the blood pact, so our dialogue choice doesn't actually matter. As you can see, that finishes That opens the tomb. We can take his swords, and we untie Alona, and we'll return to the surface and talk with Xenia, and that'll be the quest complete. It's very simple. It's basically just an introduction to combat that was released with EOC to explain how abilities and combat styles work. So I'm ready for my reward. Boom, there we go. We got a combat lamp. It gives us a little bit of XP, gets us to level 2 in skills, basically. But that means we are now ready to complete this task of obtaining Kale's charge bow. The context is basically you can complete the quests that you start, or you can continue on. Our next one is to register one unique item in the Asgarnia and Misthalin section. This can either be done by getting goblin mail or a goblin book from goblins, or you can get a cornucopia from any type of bird, or an offhand rubber chicken is by killing chickens. It's a 1 in 1,000 drop rate, so it takes a bit. I think I'm going to go kill some goblins, as that'll be pretty quick. The drop rates for them are pretty simple. And I plan on using melee as my main stat for these early tiers, for the tutorial and beginner tier, because eventually there will be a task for us to get into the Warriors Guild to get defenders, and I want to have a head start on getting those skills up to the 65 in each that will be necessary for that. So as you can see, goblins aren't very tough. I can take them on relatively easily, even though our combat is 2 in everything, basically. And the book is a 1 in 64, I think? I believe so. And I'm not sure the drop rate for the goblin mail, but it's not super rare. We got it on our first kill, actually. So there we go. Let's take that. And we will return to the task site. 1 KC. We got the goblin mail. Complete that task. Very easy. The context is teaching us how we can pick things in Slayer tasks. Next, complete the Stronghold of Security and the Stronghold of Safety, both of them. So I'm going to make my way up to Varrock, actually, to grab that lodestone, then run over to Edgeville as well. And then I will do both of those strongholds. On RuneScape 3, they pose no danger. Nothing is aggressive, as far as I'm aware, in the many times that I've done them. So as long as you don't actually accidentally click something, you're fine. So it's just free money and free boots and gloves that'll be useful for a very short amount of time, essentially. So I will go do that, and I will see you when I grab the gloves from the Stronghold of Player Safety, and then the boots for the Stronghold of Security. I forgot to mention it earlier, but as you can see in my chat, I actually did just get invited. I asked for an invite to the Taskman clan chat, which is a great place to be. There are very knowledgeable people here that you can always come to for advice, and they are actually very helpful if you have any questions about tasks or, you know, anything like that. And you can also find group events, stuff like that. There is the Stronghold of Player Safety done. You get a couple of antique lamps. I'm going to throw both on summoning, actually. Summoning is very annoying to train early on as a taskman. Getting charms, secondaries, etc. Essentially, I would recommend summoning and Herblore are your main 2 things that you're going to be using lamps on. And yes, you are allowed to use lamps that you get as long as they are from a one-time reward. So like a quest lamp at the end of a quest, that's fine. A lamp from this chest, it's a one-time completion. I can't come here and get more lamps. But something like Wilderness Flash events, if they give a lamp, you're not allowed to use it unless you need XP in that skill. So if you do a combat event, for example, you're not allowed to use that lamp unless you need XP in that skill for your task. But I have done this. I'm going to teleport out because that's going to be easier. Like I said, I grabbed the Varrock and Edgeville lodestones, but I'm going to make my way to the Stronghold of Security now. and go get myself some boots and another 10k, I believe. So that'll be nice. I forgot to mention, by the way, so I'm going to discuss it while I'm running through the Stronghold, that the tutorial tier tasks are all a specific order. So if you make yourself a Taskman account and you're following along with me for the tutorial, you will all get the same exact task order as I'm showing you currently. It's, as I've stated, a way to introduce everybody to the Taskman game mode so you can learn how it works and get used to it before it actually starts rolling you tasks. Once you get to the beginner tier, that's when you actually start getting tasks that'll be randomized. So that'll be when this account will venture off from other accounts, basically. So I just thought I would make sure to mention that in case any of you guys were confused as to why. I already seem to know what's coming. It's because I've done a few different accounts as Taskman mode. The reason I'm starting this one is for the YouTube series and because I want to get as far as I can as a hardcore Ironman. My last account, Dusk Task, it's still on the high scores, so you can see it. It did lose its hardcore status. Unfortunately, I got a little bit too risky while I was doing some rune crafting and got PK'd. But basically, the main goal for this account that I have is to get the highest rank on the Taskman leaderboards as a hardcore Ironman. I believe that spot is currently held by Snow Does Task, who last I checked was somewhere near the top 20, but I believe I can get there. Dusk Task, my other account, like I said, was in hard tier at around 60% or so, so I was getting close to elite. And I'm pretty skilled as a hardcore Ironman player. I have another hardcore Ironman account that is a maxed account, where I've only lost one life, and that was due to a DC. But yeah, so I'm pretty good at playing it safe, and I'm going to continue doing so as much as I can with this account as well. But hopefully there are some tasks you can get in specific orders where they're very scary and very dangerous, so that'll add to the journey for sure. We're almost done in the Stronghold here. Like I said, we're running through the 3rd floor, and as stated, nothing's aggressive, so it's very safe. Nothing to worry about there. But I'll see you when I reach the bottom and get myself some boots. You can think of what pair I'm gonna get. In RuneScape 3, you can actually just grab both of them, but I do have a preference, and it's, who knows if it's what you think or not. And here's the bottom of the Stronghold of Security. I'll just grab both pairs because you can, but I much prefer the look of the fighting boots. They go with my outfit better. I think they just look kind of ridiculous, and I know people love them, but it's not for me. Anyway, that is the end of our task. We've got the boots and the gloves. Like I said, they're meh in terms of armor that we're going to have for a bit. They'll get replaced very quickly. This explains how to make GP. It is a little rough early on, but I generally don't run into issues, but we shall see. Now I have to go plant potatoes in Taverley. This is to explain to a taskman how time-gated tasks work. A lot of these are farming based because farming takes time, but there are some other things. But basically, farming, first of all, is a passive skill. You can train farming as much as you want, however you want, as long as it isn't training other skills. And the thing is, with time-gated skills, get this tutorial out of here, I don't need it. This task, for example, is to harvest a row of potatoes. However, look, I've just planted the potatoes, but what am I going to do now? Am I just going to sit here and be forced to wait while these grow? No. What you can do is quote-unquote time-gate the task. So, as it explains on the task site, once you've planted the seed, and you're time gated, you can complete the task. However, you want to, as soon as your potatoes have grown, you want to go back and pick them as soon as you can. Essentially, it just lets you make progress when you would be realistically stuck waiting for real life time to pass by otherwise. And that will come up quite a bit as we progress through our journey with stuff like brewing. That'll be something that's brought up, and other various tasks. And I will mention that when they come up. But for now, we've planted those potatoes, and we are to go unlock Surge by training our agility to level 5. So it's just going to be a couple laps of the Berthorpe agility course, but it will be nice to have that ability, and I will be back once I've gotten it. I believe this should be our final lap. Yes, it is. That's level 5 of the agility skill. So we unlock Surge now. That used to be unlocked with level 30 magic, but they changed it a while ago. Let me put it on my bar quick. It's a really nice movement ability. As you can see, I didn't actually mean to use that there when I put it on my bar, but it surges you across the map. Now I am going to complete that task. Site's taking a second. Context, we leveled up. There's also escape. Yep. Next task. Level a combat skill to the soft cap of the tier and obtain a weapon upgrade. So the soft cap of the tutorial tier is level 20. So you can pick and choose what combat skill you would like. Most people go with magic, as far as I'm aware. And the general recommended area to train is in the Berthorpe Troll Cave here. There are ranged melee and magic ones that you can take out. And they don't have a ton of great drops or anything, but they're easy to kill and they give a decent amount of XP. There's not much else I can think of that would be recommended for training at this level. Maybe like young wolves for wolf bones for summoning, or if you're training magic or ranged, you might be able to find something that you can safe spot nicer. Maybe something like exiled calphites. I don't know how feasible they would be with level 1 or 2 magic or ranged. Probably not great, so it might be you might be better off just doing the trolls. However, it's something to consider. You can prayer, you are allowed to pick up the bones and bury them if you please, or you can store them. Otherwise, though, I think I'm not going to care too much about the drops because I'm going to be here for like, I don't know, half an hour or so as I get my melee and my strength and attack up to level 20. You do not, if you're doing melee like me, you do not have to do both at once. You can pick one of the two and just train that skill. But I'm going to do both at once because I think it'll be better. But same with magic or range, you don't need to train like defense at the same time. You can change the XP that you get. But I will be back after I've done this and gotten these skills to level 20. I will see you then. So I got the 20 melee stats, and in doing so, we also got up to 19, almost 20 constitution, and I buried bones until 10 prayer and then stopped because it was going to take a while if I kept on doing it. However, if you look inside of our bank, we did get some nice herb drops. A lot of Guams and Terramins for the most part. Decent amount of Harrowlanders too. But we also got some Marantil, Ranar, but even some a couple higher level herbs, like a few Lantidimes, a couple Quorums, a couple Catentines, some Dwarfweeds. So pretty nice. But I did go and buy the steel weaponry already. So here are my level 20 weapons. I did upgrade to level 10 along the way to make the task faster, but I am going to sell those back in a second. But we can complete this task now. That is essentially one of the longest tasks in the tutorial tier, especially if you do it like I did. And you don't only just choose one skill. Next one is to stock up on 20 cooked crayfish. So this is a pretty easy thing to do. We can just run to the lake down south here and fish the crayfish, and then there is a range in the building to the south. But this one can be annoying just because you can burn a ton of them. So I'll be back with a full inventory of crayfish, and we'll see how many we manage to cook. As you can see, that's one inventory cooked, and by that I mean mostly burnt. We burnt over half of it. 15 burnt with only, what is that, 11 cooked. I did detour back and sell both of those swords as well. It only gave like 500 GP back. But we are up to 4 cooking, and hopefully one more inventory worth. I'm probably just gonna get all 28. I know sometimes you never know with burn rate, so we might go over, we might not get enough, it just depends, but we'll see. I'll be back once this inventory is fished and we start cooking. Off to a great start with this inventory, already burning the first 2, now 3 out of the first 4. As you can see, the burn rate at this level is quite bad. We need 9 total cooked, I believe. And so far we're at 4. Oh my god. There's 5. 6. 7. That's also cooking level 6. 8. 9. There we go. I think that's everything. Also, I forgot to mention, on the task site, you can see this little chain here. That means there is an unlock associated with this task. If you hover over it and it doesn't show it, just refresh the page and it should. But as you can see, this unlock is you are now allowed to stock 20 cooked crayfish when you run out of food. So, this is how food will be managed for most of it. As you can see, I did fish a little over on accident. Basically, we got 7 extra raw crayfish, but it's not that big of a deal. But this task is now complete, and as you can see, if I refresh the page under cooking down here, it'll be 1 out of 12. We're now allowed to stock 20 cooked crayfish when we run out of food. This explains the task. I already have membership, so I don't need to do that. Create 5 attack potions. That'll be pretty quick. I have the guams. So let me grab 5 guam, and then we can just run over here to Yatix, is the shopkeeper, I believe, and we can buy the Eyes of Newt and the vials of water we need. And this will be a super quick task. Unlike old school, you do not need to start Druidic Ritual to do any herblore. It's available from the start. So, you see, you can clean herbs, you can mix the potions, and then mix in these Eyes of Newt. Will this get us a level? Yes, it does. We got to level 2 herblore, almost level 3. But that was a very quick and easy task, and this also has an unlock. Let me refresh the page so I can show you. The unlock is you are allowed to create combat stat and skill boosting potions until you have 5 of each potion at a 3 dose. You can only make potions that you have the level for. So basically right now, if we didn't have these attack potions, for example, if I use them all, then I could stock up on 5 more 3 doses like this. Oh, a great reminder to go harvest our potatoes. I was going to do that after the last task, but I forgot. So we can run over quick. I did see them. They are fully grown. In the future, you won't get reminders from the Taskman site like this, so you'll have to remember on your own. So if you have trouble with that, I would definitely write it down, maybe in your in-game notes, like right here, or on a notepad on your computer, just maybe even a sticky note, something that'll help you remember. But we harvested our potatoes, so we can complete this task. We're just breezing through the tutorial. The next task is to obtain a holy symbol. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, that's easy. You just go train your mining and your crafting, and then you can make one. You cannot do that currently because the level to create a holy symbol is outside of the soft caps of the tutorial tier, which is 1 to 15. So we aren't allowed to level those skills up to make it. It doesn't come up much. It's mainly when it comes to some clue items, like an amulet of strength or an amulet of glory in certain tiers. You will not be able to make them, and instead will have to get them from a drop or wait until a later tier when you can. So how do we get a holy symbol then? That's pretty simple. Various creatures in the Lumbridge catacombs can drop them. So it's just a bit of combat. However, the creature that I plan on killing, the warped bats, they hit pretty hard. So first I want to get some better food. So I will meet you back once I am there, but I'm going to go grab a couple more lodestones, namely the Falador, the Draenor, and the Port Sarim lodestones, and then I'm also going to boat over to Ardoin so I can show you a great source of food, both early game, but overall an incredibly important place on a Taskman account. It will be your best friend, essentially. Aware of why I am here at the Gnome Strongholds, some of you may not be. The method I was talking about of getting a great food source is actually located here at the Gnome Restaurant. It has a large amount of food. I won't be able to show you the true healing prices, the healing amounts here currently because of my constitution level, but they range from 375 at the lowest with these pre-made crunchies to 1500 here with the chalk bombs in the tangled toad legs at 1500 each when you have the actual constitution level. And if you look at these, they're all relatively super cheap. So I'm gonna buy some crunchies because we do have a little bit of cash, not a ton, but I know I'm going to need food for in the future, and it's just better than the crayfish, easier to get, and I feel better about it. So I'm gonna buy all the crunchies available, I think, and then I will make my way to the Lumbridge catacombs to take on those bats and get that holy symbol. I am also going to run over and grab the Eagle Peak lodestone quick, because I might as well. I grabbed Catherby and Ardoin, as well as Falador, Draenor, and Port Sarim, like I said I would. But yes, I will meet you back in the Lumbridge catacombs, and I will show you how rough fighting these bats can be, and you'll see why I wanted the food. Bats. Unfortunately, the wiki only lists the drop as a common drop. It doesn't say like an actual number rate. So unfortunately, I can't give you that information. But as you see, we're taking hits of 200s from these bats. So we'll see how many we can kill in one inventory. I will pick up those bones because they'll be used in a quest later. But yeah, the food is basically a necessity. Otherwise, I'd be killing maybe one a trip, and it would be ridiculous. That's 2 down, though. Some stone spirits and a bow. The charge bow doesn't matter because we got a free one from quest. Though this one might actually be better stats. I'll have to check. Kill 3. Just bones and runes. Kill 4. Some leather gloves and some more bones. But yeah, this is where I'll be, basically. We'll see if we can get the, hopefully we get the holy symbol pretty soon. But I'll see you once I get it. Has been acquired. That was what? 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Looks like 13 kills overall to get that holy symbol, so not too bad. I literally just finished eating the last piece of food from that first inventory. We got 1 level of attack and strength and 1 constitution level, so not bad. It went by pretty quick, and it is technically my best in slot necklace for now with an 8 prayer bonus, even though that basically does not matter at all. But that's a task complete. And our next task, oh yes, is to collect the 6 statuettes down here in the catacombs. So I'm going to need to refill on food, because to get one of the statuettes you have to fight Dragath Nern, who is the mini boss at the end of the dungeon. He has, I believe it's like 7.8k health, so it's a bit of a rough fight, so food is absolutely going to be necessary for it. So I will meet you back down in the catacombs as I grab the statuettes and make my way to Dragath Nern. The statuettes, for the most part, are really easy. They will aggro a monster in the room that they are in when you grab them. So when I take this jade statuette, for example, one of the nearby warped flies turns aggressive. Oh, I should have healed at the bank. Whoops. Well, we're gonna start down a couple pieces of food, but that's okay. Next statue is this topaz one. Take that, and you can basically just grab them and run. You don't need to kill the enemies that turn aggressive. Sapphire next here in this archer room, corpse archers. Don't think I've literally ever fought one of these in my life on any of the accounts. Straight up to the next room, the emerald statue. We're at 4. Statue number 4. Statue number 5 in this corpse mage room. The ruby statue. And then, like I said, statue 6 here, you can see this protective bubble around it. You have to take on Dragath Nern. 7.8k health it looks like. And he does hurt a decent amount, so I'm gonna throw my melee prayers on, because I might as well. Whatever will help will help. And basically just pay attention to my health. Currently, we don't have access to a lot of good combat abilities or anything, so I let Revo do it for the most part, because it doesn't really matter. We're about halfway done with this fight though, and we've got plenty of food still, so we should be fine. Nothing really to worry about. Still though, I want to keep on top of my health. It would be embarrassing if I died here. Yeah, we're making our way through the tutorial tier pretty quick. We're at 73% right now, and we've got a couple quick tasks after this, if I remember correctly. Dragath Nern is almost dead. One more solid hit. Look at how much damage he does, though. He is scary. I'll take the mask part just in case. I don't remember if there's a task for it. But there's the statue. I'm going to teleport out of here because it's going to be easier. And we just talked to Xenia and she buys these off of us. I don't remember how much she buys them for. I don't think it's a ton of money though, unfortunately. Which we're hurting on a little bit. We're at 5.7k. We had to spend a lot of it on the weapons, and then the food didn't help. I'll sell you the statues. She only take 1? There we go. Got us up a couple thousand, so that's that. We can complete this task. Generate the new one. Surge straight into a wall, so you just want to surge 1 tile. Boom. Some of you, it's really easy to accidentally do this task. So the explanation of this is basically that a lot of you may have completed this task already without knowing. I realized I forgot to change back to the game while I did that, but as you can see in the chat box, I just surged right into the mausoleum. I did this. Here's a recreation. But yeah, it's basically explaining sometimes you're gonna accidentally complete a task, but as long as you're not trying to do that, it's okay. Everybody's gonna make some mistakes. This next task is to obtain a penguin point and then use it to buy some cash. Penguins are fair game. You can do them whenever. And it's highly advisable you do so because the XP that you can get is very nice. You can only buy XP when you need XP in that task, as I explained before. So if you need like Herblore XP for an Herblore task, then you can use your penguin points to buy XP lamps. So I'm going to get as many of the penguins as I can, and then I will meet you back in Ardoin by Larry, and I will purchase you do have to spend 1 point to get some cash for this task. So I will be back once I've done that. All of the penguins that I have access to currently, as you can see, that's only 5 of them, basically. But 5 is better than none, so we're going to come down here and spend a singular point on coins. It's 10k, so right now it's pretty good. And if I find myself needing money with no other way, I might spend the rest on penguin points, or the rest of my penguin points on cash. It would be another 50k, basically. But for now, that's all I'm going to use. They'll stay sitting there ready for me to use whenever. But that is the end of that task. The next task requires us to do the flagfall quest, which means we have to do... what is it called? The Trader Stan quest to get access to the Ark. Meeting the locals. It's pretty quick. It's basically just a bunch of dialogue. But you have to do that and then make your way to the Ark and do flagfall, which is also pretty quick. So I will be back once I'm in the Ark with both of those done. Currently in the Ark, and we are just about to finish the flagfall mini quest. Give Boney the 5 driftwood. And there we go. We get some chimes, some taijutsu, and the ability to claim an island. But that's not what matters right now. What matters right now is first I'm going to sell the random other stuff for the chimes that I got. It's not much, but might as well. But we are coming to grab this bottle that is found down here. I believe it's down here. Yep. This message in a bottle. And if we read it, it says Quartermaster Gully can bring us to where the message is pointing us. This is one of the methods for early passives in Taskman mode. Passive tasks are different from the rest of our normal tasks. We need a certain amount of passive tasks to be able to move on to the next tier. If we look at the site, as you can see up here by beginner, you see there's this 1 in red, and it says you have completed 0 of the 1 passives required to roll this tier. So that means we need to have done at least 1 passive task to be able to move on to the beginner tier once we're done with the tutorial tier. This task is essentially teaching us how to do that. And these various castaways are a few of the easy passives that we can get early on. I did not mean to kick him, I meant to talk to him. But there we go. He gives us a taijutsu and thanks for rescuing him. And that's done, so we can head back to Waco or Port Sarum. We can destroy this treasure map because we don't need it anymore. But that is this task complete. We found him. We just have to talk to whoever the castaway is. this explains essentially what I just did about passive tasks. The other thing is we are going to want to go to tasks up here, and then we are going to want to search for Milky Joel, and it'll pop up this passive: locate Milky Joel, find a message in a bottle for this castaway. He's visible every day. So we are going to complete this, and as you can see up here, the one has disappeared. We have earned the ability to be able to go to the beginner tier once we're done with the tutorial tier, obviously. So we have done our one passive task. Our next task, as you can see, is to collect a bronze spear and 20 ashes from the haunted mine. Now you can get there without completing any quests, which a lot of people do not realize. There is a bit of combat. You have to fight a ghoul to get into Canifis, but after that you can simply run all the way down through the swamp to the haunted mine, and you can get a couple bronze spears in there for quests. If you are following along, or you are doing this task yourself, bring a bucket along with you for the next task. That's all I'll say for now, but you're going to want to do that. But I will meet you once we have made our way to the haunted mine. Currently at the haunted mine, I did grab the Canifis lodestone because that's just a good idea. Didn't have to do any quests to get here. Just had to fight a single ghoul in the Powderdomus Mausoleum. Be careful of those vampires, I guess. They are aggressive and they hurt a lot. I don't remember which of these tunnels it is you want to go down. Not this one? No. Yes? Yes, it is this one, I think. And then you climb down the ladder here, and these spears are on the right, I believe. Yes, there they are. It's a good idea to grab a few of the spears if you can, but the skeletons make that a little bit annoying, constantly putting you into combat. So you'll have to either hide and then hop, or wait. I don't know how long the respawn time is, so probably better off hopping. Yeah, I'm gonna grab like 4 or 5 spears. I do not remember how many you actually need. I believe you need 1 for, or is it 2 for Taibo One Eye? You need a couple spears basically, so it's good to grab a couple. That's all. So I'm gonna grab 4 or 5, I think, just to be safe. You can always come back if you need them later and you didn't get enough. It's not like it's that hard to get here, it's just a little bit annoying. So it's that simple. I will grab the few spears that I need, and then I will show you where to get the ashes. Final spear that I'm grabbing. Next, you want to run down the ladder that I've been hiding down to Hop Worlds, and then we're going to head south past this moving minecart here. You'll have to wait your opportunity to either follow it or get past it and hide in these little cubbies to get down to this ladder here. So I'm gonna have to wait for it to go all the way and then come back past me for me to get down. But down here is where the glowing mushroom is for the quest. But we don't care about the quest right now, we just care about what happens when you drop these mushrooms. They turn into ashes, so you can pick a whole bunch of them. And this is very important tech to know basically for a Taskman account in order to get ashes for necromancy. You can pick as many as you want. And you can also keybind the glowing fungus. Let's just throw it as something. So you can hold that down and it'll drop all of them and they turn into ashes, and you can pick that up. If you have the underworld grimoires from the task set, it automatically banks your ashes, so then you don't have to bank. You can just sit here for however long you want and essentially get as many ashes as you want. Super easy, no XP required. That's why it's important for a Taskman. This is 8, 9. How many? I need 20. So I'll just eat all of my food quick and I'll fill the rest of my inventory, I guess. The more ashes, the better. But yeah, this task is going to be over in just a second. As you can see, I'm just holding down the key that I set and it's instantly dropping them. So it's super easy. And there we go. That's an inventory full of ashes. So that is our collect a bronze spear and 20 ashes task complete. Our next task, this is what you need the bucket for, is a super duper secret task. There are a few of these. They're generally fun little interactions that are hidden and a lot of people might not know about them. So this is one of them. We're going to make our way to the barrows because over there is where we can do this task to get Aram the Blighted to fill a bucket with water from a well. So I will meet you over by the barrows and show you how this is done. Well, that is the entrance to Rise of the Six. All you have to do is use a bucket on it. Aram will appear and he fills it for you quick. No achievement or anything from it. It's just a fun little interaction that's available in the game. But we can complete that task. We can complete the context task. And then this is the final task that just says welcome to the beginner tier. So here we are. This is our first actual task that we get that's random. And this is another, it used to be labeled as a super duper secret task. I guess it's not anymore. You have to find out the mightiest tree in the forest, which is pretty easy to do. You just use a herring or raw herring on a tree. But yeah, this is the beginning of the beginner tier. After finishing the tutorial tier, that brings us to the end of this episode of the Taskman Progress series. I would like to say thank you all for watching if you got this far, and if you could please like the video, comment any kind of feedback that you have. I would love to see some comments to know whether you do or do not like certain aspects of the video, and most of all, if you would please subscribe to the channel, that would be great. It's the best way for you to keep up with the series and make sure that you see my videos coming out. Currently, the planned schedule, I believe, is going to be twice a week, having one uploaded on Monday and one uploaded on Friday. I believe I'll be able to be getting enough content to keep up with that schedule, but we'll see as we progress further through tiers and tasks begin to take longer. But seriously, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.